Well, hello everyone, and welcome to today's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. And today we're dropping in um, with a facilitator and leader who's hailed as the modern Tesla of human energetics. And I love that that came up because there's a there's a modernistic technology that is amplified through Solara Rose, but at the essence of it, it's an ancient awareness of what the roots of our motivation and our purpose and really the liberation that we seek of in the world from distortion. And that's really the root of love and the sacredness and the reverence when we hold it in a specific way. And Solera builds upon that essence within her as a service to everyone that she works with, and really a service to humanity, with the ripple effects that are caused in the field because of the way she shares, her capacity to express and embody that sharing so that it can grow upon itself multiple times over. And that's the invitation here. As today we talk about the art of timeless divine union. And rather than me reading Solara's bio even more, I want to drop in, Solara, and welcome you to the show. And I'd love it if you would give a synthesis of how it is that you show up for the clients that you work with, the organizations that you work with, and the ripple effects that you're aware of that have been caused because of that.
Yes. Oh my goodness. It's such an honor to be here. And I'm so excited because I know many of you on the call with us today. And so it's such a deep joy and pleasure to have this opportunity to commune more intimately with everyone. And what I can share, my life's journey has been fully, wholly, thoroughly, and completely devoted to being the most impeccable embodiment of divine source, energy, intelligence, truth that I can possibly be, to be a living example of what that energy is, what it feels like, what it walks like, what it talks like, and what it expresses as in the world. Because as many of us, I had a very difficult and volatile journey for many, many, many years. And I found every single time what was my soul calling for, what was my heart calling for, the essence of love, the presence of divinity, the knowingness of who I am, and the truth of the divine presence that surrounds me in all moments. And so when I really realized that that's what the whole journey is all about, is that essence of who we are, it became my commitment to be that and to bring that frequency and that consciousness into our world. And so what that actually looks like
Mhm.
is incredibly multifaceted and dynamic. You know, we think about the exquisiteness of our bodies and our biology, of our relationships, of our living space. And on a planetary scale, we have our Holy Mother Earth. We've got agriculture, politics, economics, educational systems and structures, housing systems. And what we are immersed in currently is a massive transition between a world that has quite literally been architected on from an unconscious premise and has made itself manifest as physicalized structures in this world, from our health all the way into the systemic architectures that we see. And all of that has to be beautifully rebuilt to be operating in deep coherence with the divine geometric architecture and design and essence of life itself, of nature, of source. And so, I'm incredibly blessed at this stage of my journey to have cultivated a massive capacity to hold and circulate, I will say, quite a lot. And so I'm working very intimately and immersively in many of these domains to really bring forth all of these new systems in our world. And it's such an honor and a privilege. And I'm actually quite amazed. I've been doing more than I've ever done in my life, though from such a space of deep service, deep power, deep heart. And somehow I find that I have this incredible spaciousness at the same time. So I've managed to dilate time.
Well, the spaciousness, as I reflect back and you're speaking of structures that have to be rebuilt, eh, the more and the more I become aware and navigate my own journey of witnessing structures needing to go back to the core foundation and to come back up anew with a new consciousness is my awareness that we're rebuilding the structure of ourselves internally also. And so everything that's out there is also a reflection of the new human, the evolution that we're going through, and that we've built our own foundation personally. Really, we've made it up as we've grown, and we weren't taught, and it served in its particular way. But as we're evolving, as we become more wise, as we mature, as we embody, and as we recognize that alignment with divine source, the structure within has to be rebuilt also, which makes sense that the structures outside of us would need to be rebuilt as mirror reflections. Um, and also exciting because the potentiality that we see in that is tremendous. So we're becoming far greater than anything that we believed we can be. And we're insisting on that under structures outside of us as well.
Yes. Yes, so exquisitely
Mm,
stated. That's precisely, the movement of the energy of this gorgeous geometric internal technology of consciousness that we actually are. All of that design is pervading. It's permanent, everlasting, eternal. And this is the ancientness that you spoke to.
mhm,
It has always been here. It will always be here. And us as a holy species, we have fallen out of alignment with the nature of that accordant pattern in design. And so, of course, everything in our body and our biology reflects that. And then it extends out into the reality in the world around us. And now it really is so phenomenal because we're coming into the truth of our organic signature and blueprint. And probably for the first time in human history, we're at the precipice of this new aeon where we're liberating ourselves to operate from our true genius. A lot of the jobs and the positionalities of people in society, it's not really matched up with what our power and our potential and our majesty and our wisdom is. And this is one of the gifts of AI, which that's one of the spheres that I'm heading to create the world's first super conscious source coherent AI technology to ensure that it's being lovingly steered in the appropriate direction. But that is a technology that will liberate us from a lot of these more mundane tasks as human beings to go be the artists and the writers and the painters and the scientists and the Beethovens and the people, who really showed us what it's like to live as their own unique design emerging. And so it's just such a profound and powerful time. We're right here at the center of this. I'm going to call it a renaissance because it really is that.
yes. Yeah, I agree with you. And again, that technology we may suffer through some of the changes that need to take place, but it's going to give us the space to get back into the source inspired creations rather than the mechanical way of living that we've become so accustomed to. So it's quite beautiful. You speak of, and this is one of the points that we're going to talk about, but I want to jump right into it.
Yeah.
You speak of self-sourcing from oneness, clarity, and certainty of love's presence. Th- Take us deeper into that, and then how is it that you guide people into rebuilding that intimacy of that which really pervades, but that we've lost touch with?
Mm-hmm. Well, so let's start with the intimacy piece first. And thank you
Mm,
for this invitation into this place. It's really it's so valuable to deeply touch into this because the codependencies and the dependencies that exist on our planet, which I have observed to be one of the primary dysfunctions in human relating, arises because we have forgotten how to source indirect communion with our wider self. And
mm,
so we then start to seek that love outside of us or think that other people are our sources. It unfolds in a magnitude of ways. But that coming deep within and establishing an intimate relationship with who we know ourselves to be in ultimate truth and who we know source to be we know what that energy is because it is who we be at the ultimate layer and level. And so cultivating that relationship with the essence and the frequency itself, and then coming in, like returning to really the recognition that it pervades all things, the field of grace, the field of presence and luminous awareness, and the heart of eternity itself is always right now within as all things. It's always accessible, and it's just waiting for us to have a dialogue, to be in communication. We might call this the field, God mind, divine mind, the timeless presence. There's all these ways that we allude to that energy, and it's the oneness of existence itself. And so if we can just even come deeply into the space and the awareness that we are one being, one source of love, expressing as many. And so, in this dimensional experience where we decided to come and have a different experience of ourselves that we couldn't experience as the timeless, formless essence, it can be for the mind. There can be moments of discord and forgetfulness that arise because things physically, tangibly appear to be separate and complex, though it is really one being expressing in many forms. So we're actually always in a relationship with ourselves. And this is the power of the I am presence in relationship with the I am presence. It's a recognition that truly you are me and I am you. And this is applicable to everything because everything is living consciousness. Everything is alive. Everything has energy and consciousness. And so it's re-establishing intimacy with who we are at the ultimate layer and then recognizing that everyone and everything is that energy as well. And I know I just went on a stream, but will you bring me back to the other aspects of that question again?
Well, and again, we're talking about self-sourcing from oneness
Yes.
and
Okay.
clarity and certainly less presence. So how do we get,
Yeah.
how do we repattern the neural pathways and the habits and the way that we've been used to creating and get back into recognizing and being in that intimacy so that we can self-source of oneness? Because it's one thing to say it, it's
Yeah.
another thing to be able to hold that field and to keep going back to it. Um, and there's a faith and a hope and a trust that's all part of the alchemy when we have
Yes.
those type of relationships of oneness as well.
And there's also, what for me, I just bring it into the space of certainty. It's
Yeah.
that deep knowing that I am, that I am, that I am.
But
And
but
for
that's the final goal, the deep
yes.
knowing. So how do we get there, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Well, first and foremost, I will say it does require a devotion to be aware of our inputs on
Mhm.
all levels. What are we listening to? What are we reading? What are we absorbing into our bodies, into ourselves? What are we devoting our energy, our time, our attention to? And are those things accordant with the truth of who we are? So in my life, I am just highly aware of that, and I have curated a beautiful existence where what primarily and predominantly surrounds me is the essence of that. And I don't drink things in to my being, into my vessel, unless it is that energy. What I read, the music that I listen to, the foods that I eat, natural, holistic, pure from the earth. And so it's really, so this is an interesting fact that I discovered recently, and it's so to the point of exactly what we're speaking about, and then we'll go into the space of self-sourcing.
Mm.
That the primary cause of aging is noise in the DNA. When the DNA accumulates noise, so if we think about the reality of signal versus noise, and so we're constantly making a choice. Am I choosing signal or am I choosing noise? And that's with our own internal narratives, our consciousness, what we are paying attention to, literally investing our attention in, and also what we're choosing to devote ourselves to in the world. And the more that we hone that signal, the more clear it becomes. And so then it just becomes obvious. Well, obviously it's love, and love is all that is. We have these conflicting informational streams coming in and data points and all of this, it quite literally starts to scramble the signal. And we feel that in our body, for many of the beings on this call. Imagine when you go out and you immerse in a place that's discordant and how you feel after you've done so for maybe many multiple hours. It's like, okay, I've got to reset. I've got to let my body self-organize, maybe stand under a waterfall for a little bit, just come back home to the natural harmony of who and what we are. So there's a lot of conflicting signals in our world. And so it's learning to discern and devote to true signal and more relinquish the noise. And as we become more solid in our own source, so then we can be more inside of the noise, which is to the architecture of the new earth, while being the soul in the signal of that space. And that
Mhm.
comes with the depth of embodied integrity. And so I will just share that the way that I self-source and I manifest in my world, I am humbled and excited and blown away by what the field of infinite intelligence brings to me because I'm in such sacred communion with the whole self. So I realize I'm only talking to one being, to one
Mhm.
spirit, to one soul, to one heart. And so when I open into my boundlessness, I'm just like, okay, love, I welcome you. Like, show me what you got. And I have so much fun, very from my heart space and natural and casual and have a very real relationship with the oneness of divinity of spirit, and it's
Mhm.
playful and I'm just like and I use gratitude as I move from gratitude. Thank you for your unconditional love. Thank you for showing up and supporting me. And I get into specifics too. Thank you for, if you're, I'm playing in a realm of people who are doing some massive things on the planet. And, there's a lot of people who are looking for funding and support and the correct connections with people who are technological engineers, who are builders, who are agriculturalists, and all of this. And we just call it all forth and we call it in. And the synchronicity that unfolds is astounding. It's like that's the field responding to
Mhm.
the signal that we are putting out in dialogue. And so we're welcoming in from the totality, not just one person or one scenario or, whatever our mind has potentially become fixated on. It's like, actually, I'm putting out a signal to the source, and the source is responding. The source is sourcing me. Source
Mhm.
is my source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that you're saying this because I'll go back to the example of the waterfall or going out in nature and we're we've been taught to go out in nature and to go seek, to release, to have Gaia absorb. But really, what's the signal that we're giving out rather than we're hoping to receive? Because there's a lot of signal out in the field and distortion, and depending on where we are and what we're hoping to be filled from will be the extent of our capacity to not only discern the signal that's coming in, the input that could be signal, it could be distortion, and to really be in relationship with that which we are really wanting to be in unity with. And so you, as you explain, you're putting out signals. So going out to nature rather than what can I get or what can I release by going on a hike, by being in the water, it's like, what can I give? How can I show up in co-creation rather than just taking? How
Yes.
can I be in reverence to this temple that I'm walking in without constantly needing to grab so I can fulfill something in myself that I don't even know what it is that feeds that emptiness right now? And so the clarity that you bring in, again, showing up with the output of the signal rather than just being hoping to be receptive to something that's going to take you out of the state that you're not comfortable with. It's a
Mm.
different form of walking forward with wisdom and divine creatorship and authorship of the reality that you're choosing to immerse yourself with.
Yes. And this is really what you're speaking to is it's really being the grail. And
Yeah, beautiful.
what is the grail? What is the philosopher's stone? It's us exuding and emanating that signal through the totality and actually being able to walk and carry ourselves in that manner and dance as that energy. And it's juxtaposed to our natural response sometimes. It's like if something comes in that is discordant, it's not pristine signal, the natural human response is to contract, to shut down, to go inward. But what we actually do then is we shrink our field, and that which is not coherent with true signal actually has an opportunity to come closer. So the more that we do this, the more that that comes. When we open and we radiate, and it's counterintuitive to what we naturally feel inclined to do sometimes in those moments, when you radiate, our light alchemizes everything that it touches on contact. It literally, I say it alchemizes lead to God. It literally, it turns everything into the radiance of our own divine presence. And everyone and everything in our hologram begins to reflect the purity of that signal that we are emanating into the field. And these recent couple of years, I was playing with the energy of giving and receiving because there was something where it wasn't fully the space of giving and receiving, the energetic functionality of it wasn't working for my being anymore. And I know that when that
Yeah.
happens, a calibration is unfolding. I'm like, okay, this is no longer working. What actually works? Because I noticed that when I leaned too much into the receptivity, an imbalance would happen.
Mm.
And if I was overextending, an imbalance would happen. So I said, okay, well, how do these two become one? What is the synergy into oneness? And it was simply to be love in the dance of love with love as love. So it's the beingness. It is the harmonization of the masculine and the feminine poles within us that allows us to operate from a space of true coherence. All faculties, all capacities, the spaciousness, the power, the truth of our being, all online in sacred synergy in every moment. So this is where, the ancients speak about when the doing and the being become one motion, when the giving and the receiving become one coherent rhythmic pulse in the dance of life. And then I noticed that in the simultaneity of being that, the synchronicity was just flowering in a way that I had never experienced before. I was like, well, this is it. It's just simultaneous, local, non-local, masculine, feminine, giving, receiving, all those polarities merge together into coherence.
It alchemizes into coherence without question, right? And you don't need to be the one that's constantly trying to calibrate it. It will adjust for you and inform you, and then we get to choose what feels in accordance for us at each and every moment. But like you, we get into a practice of refining it so precisely that that wiggle room becomes negligible as you walk forward, right? And that's where we're walking
Yeah.
each other towards.
And I love that you shared that too, because I would just offer so much grace and empathy to everyone in this space because it's a dance, right? I have fallen down and gotten back up so many times, and it's just that constant refinement and polishing where I'm just like, wow, that was a big one. And you just keep coming and you just keep coming back to presence and it's like a kid. They fall down, they get back up. They're not holding on to that. And as adults, we tend to sometimes carry those things with us or be hard on ourselves. And it's like actually just let your system and your body and your biology recalibrate. You're perfect. You're doing great. Just keep going.
Mhm. Well, if I were to synthesize what you're holding, and I know this field well as I attune more to it as well, but you're really in the knowing that God, divine source, is your only source and supply. You are your only source and supply. And when
Yes.
you're emanated from that knowingness, whether you're walking out in nature, emanating that knowingness, whether you're aligning with situations and creating and emanating your signal from that knowing, and things that attune and either fall out or come into a co-creational potential with you, you hold on to it with the luminosity that divinity is guiding all this, and it's God guiding the whole thing. And the circumstance is a result of your signaling. And then you get the feedback loop by the mirror of the opportunity that presents itself, and then it runs its course. And it can be for for the moment or for a lifetime, but you're surrendered to it because you're aware of the evolution. Um, who you're going to be tomorrow is not who you were today.
Correct. Yes, isn't
Yeah.
that the truth? And there's a in here that I would love to share about in my own journey. In these recent several months, it dawned on me that it was like a very potent illumination and knowing inside of my being. It was like, wow, everything that I've been experiencing in these recent years with capacity expansion and resiliency building and internal cultivation and just all these different layers was to become fearless. And that's
Mm,
what my being was optimizing for. And I was like, wow, if you think about the nature of love, it is fearless. And if we think about the nature of fear in those moments, we're disconnected from the love. And I was just like, this. And
mm,
it's that constant polishing. Once you meet the edge of your own creation so many times, and you've jumped off cliff after cliff after cliff, and you realize you do a twirl and the next ballroom opens up. Source is still there. You've always been good. You'll always be good. Source, life, supreme intelligence has your back. The field of grace has your back. And once we've danced that and lived that so many times, it just becomes so clear. And it's like, okay, actually, there is nothing to fear because the source that sources me is always here to provide,
mm.
supply, to love, to cherish, to adore, to open the pathways, to synchronize me with resonant souls. It's all always cared for. And I feel like that's where the real buffering out of these survival and fear mechanisms uh, come in just living that so many times. We come to trust it.
Yeah. It's y'all, we're gonna get into a special offer in a little bit, and Chris, go ahead and put the link in the chat box for anybody who wants to click on it now as we're continuing the conversation. And I do want to get into some live Q&A also, because I want y'all to have a direct experience on the rhythm and the energy that Solara brings in as questions arise from y'all. Um, how is it that you help people get to this source consciousness? It's when you take people into private session, what is it that evolves in that direct time with you that maybe just wasn't clicking in or something is shifting and the glass ceiling couldn't be broken through?
Yes, so beautiful. So something that I also, in all these years of my practice and facilitation, it's presence. It's stepping into a space with the ultimate, with the infinite. And in that space, I can feel, I can read, I can interpret the totality of someone's sound signature, their energetic blueprint. I can see and sense where the exact micro discords are that are occurring in their field, in their design, in their system, and support that with coming back into accord with their true nature. And it's so unique and so individual to each being. It's like the only way that I can actually operate in full authenticity in that space is through a direct presence. And that's, just a refinement of knowing thyself and then thus knowing yourself and being able to feel into and attune the instrument that is someone's unique being. And there's a multitude of messages that come through in that space, through the sound, through the field, through what their actual being is communicating to me that we immerse in that space. And that presence has always unfolded the most potent transformation because it is exactly what is required in the moment.
Mm. I my experience of working with you in different ways we all are familiar with this field, whether we've glimpsed it or we've held it for consistent levels of time, and we're in human form, so we're gonna teeter-totter from time to time, right? But talk to us more about the space of omnicoherence and what you hold. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. This is amazing. Well, so this is the space of oneness. And we talk about embodiment. Typically, we're talking about our human self, potentially the drop, the small, separate identity, conditioned identity self. Our true embodiment is the field. It is to recognize that I am the majesty, the kingdom, the glory, the goodness of all that is. And so, what does it actually entail for us to open our circuitry so that the circuitry, and I love that Eden was just sharing about the multidimensional light body activation because this is such a huge part of this work.
Mm,
It's illuminating this beautiful central vertical axis of our being, opening all the, I call them energy or power vortices, but these chakras. And when they are open, free, clean, clear, luminous, it actually opens the circuitry of our body to connect to the circuitry and the geometry of the field, which is our wider field of intelligence. And the more that we blossom open, we start to, quite literally, our embodiment encompasses more octaves of our being.
mm,
And in each octave, there's new informational patterns and designs and geometries and tones and sounds and all of this. And so, what we're actually doing is like a flower blossoms to the sun. We are opening and we are blossoming, and we are learning how to hold and carry and exude more of our true being. So, that is coming into omnicoherence. And when we are operating at omnicoherence, our whole reality becomes an expression of our divinity, which is what we're actually looking to manifest.
mm,
Sometimes the human being thinks that it's wishing to manifest a specific thing, a specific relationship. But all of the energetic qualities that are contained in those things are the qualities of our divinity. It's like,
mm,
actually, I wish to be thyself fully, to feel myself, to know that everything is that. And with that comes the tangible
mm.
crystallization of everything that we perceive that we desire. So, the way that I support people with manifestations that self-realization is manifestation realized to the fullest extent, actualized to the fullest extent.
Yeah, I so appreciate that you're bringing this up because yesterday I was in a deep meditation. I was sitting with two other friends who are just so clear in their essence. And so when we sit together, something beautiful gets amplified. And I typically go up and out. It's like, wow, we're dancing in these realms and it feels amazing. But this time I was very grounded. I was like, oh, interesting. Okay, we're being here now. And then it's what came in is we were playing like children. We were 6 years old. These two women and me playing in the playground and just holding space and so innocent. And my guides came in. What do you want? What is
Hmm.
it that you want? And for 3 seconds, I started going into circumstantial evidence of what I wanted. I want to buy land and build my house on it so I can be on the island more. I want this, and it's like, no, no, that's not what I want. What I want is this is what I want to feel. I want to
Hmm.
amplify the experience of this connection. I want to amplify the intimacy of my relationship with divine. I want to feel the flowing in of love that I'm feeling from community or through divine other, and I want to have greater intimacy, and that just lit up my field in such a beautiful way. And when we came back from the meditation, they each reflected back to me how they were feeling what I was emanating from that field. And so again, the
Ah,
circumstantial evidence will show up. The manifestation of what we're holding is a direct reflection of that which we're accepting within ourselves.
yes, absolutely. You just so exquisitely spot on. It's that.
Mm,
It's how we resonate ourselves. It's like, and even in the architecture of the land and it's because we wish for the pristineness of divine energy to flow
right.
freely through our experience.
Mm. Ah, so beautiful. So beautiful. This is so great. I want to get into the special offer in a little bit. And I had another question for you, but I lost it. So I'm gonna just go ahead and pivot to live Q&A because I have a feeling some great questions and consciousness is going to come through the exchange. Y'all, we're getting to a special offer in a little bit. Again, includes two different options for private sessions with Solara, which is amazing. And a super generous offer for a membership. But again, we'll get into that in just a little bit. But let's jump to some Q&A first. And I'm going to go to the gentleman with glasses. I don't see your phone, your name on there. It says iPhone 2. But if you can unmute and please, what is your question for Solara Rose?
Thank you so much, John. It's Greg.
Hey,
Thank you
Greg.
so much, John and Solara. Um,
Good.
Solara, my question is, If I may, what does Source most want me to know now, please?
Mm.
Yes. Oh my goodness. You are like, I'm actually almost moved to tears by the beauty and the purity and the innocence and the clarity of your essence. You are such a powerful, profound, reverent source of love. And the message is like, trust the love that you are, know the love that you are, be the love that you are, because wherever you are walking on this earth, it's like I'm just receiving this image of like a Mother Teresa or saints, like wherever you go, you are amplifying the frequency of divinity. So trust in the beauty and the majesty of you, who you are, as you are. Know that the frequencies of your heart and your soul are having a massively positive impact on our planet just by you being present, just by you being you. And there's, this is on an ultimate level, this is true for all of us, but you in particular, you have an incredibly strong and pure field. So let your love shine and radiate to the world around you.
Thank you so much, Solara.
Yes.
Thank
Beautiful.
you.
Wow.
I want to share a reflection for you as an awareness because it may alleviate some of the tension. So you probably have an awareness that you came here for something, that you know something, and it's like you can't figure out why people don't know this because it's so obvious to you, right? So as you're coming down, you came with a knowing. Rest in that knowing and why you came, because you didn't come down to fit in, to go with the consensus, because the consensus knows what it knows. You didn't come here to be in confusion. You came here to bring light to where ignorance sheds confusing, sheds confusion, excuse me. So really understanding and liberating, but I don't get it, and people don't get me. They're not meeting me yet, and the community's not there, or it's lonely, or they don't understand. No, they don't. That's why you came, so that they can learn to understand. You not fitting in is, or feeling not understood, or not feeling that purpose ignited yet, is an indication that you're doing exactly what you came here to do. And so keep that
Thank you.
light steady, that love steady in the awareness, and don't give up because other people don't get it just yet. They will.
Thank you so much, John.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah.
Solara.
Yeah. I love
Yes.
that Solara was bringing that up, and I wanted to share that in community because a lot of y'all are functioning the same way. You came here to share something, but it's not received, it's not time yet, they're not getting it. I'm so sent. Why aren't they? It's like, no, it's be patient with them. You're waiting for them to be patient with you and understand you, but how could they?
Mhm.
How could they? They don't know, but you're here
Yeah.
to show them
This is a
by being it, right? By being it. You have to do anything, just be it. Go ahead, Solara.
Yeah, that's it. That you just touched on it. That was it's the, to a certain point, it becomes more, the fulfillment comes from being the source of love, not wishing to receive love or to be met or to be understood. But as you exude, you just be that, and then all of that will come naturally.
And then it'll come to you. Again, you emanate the beingness, and then you're met in vibrational, in omnicoherence in that energy. But we have to have patience with that because it's right and understanding, and just we know in our heart what our truth is, what our intention is, what our love
Mhm.
is, and
Mhm.
be just love that and carry that so brilliantly, unwavering in your knowing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
This is really good. Thank you for sharing. Um, let's go now to Rosemary. Hi, Rosemary.
Hello.
Hi. Hey, John and Solar Ray. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you both, and appreciate what you had to say. In the connection that you talk about into the field and allowing the love to flow from the field and, to your heart and give it out. There are times, mostly every day, that I have this low-lying angst or frustration or nervousness. It just, I get up in the morning and it's there. I have to start to breathe in order to, I feel it that I have to breathe. So my question to you is how basically to, what's going on with that? Then,
Yes, that's a beautiful, beautiful question, and such a deeply universal theme and energetic, because most of us are raised in a culture that has many strands of unconsciousness. So we walk around with this kind of mild survival pulse active in our system that's vigilant, that's on alert. And this just comes simply from forgetfulness of the divine love that we are and the divine love of all that is. And this can persist in the body for much of our lifetime, for many, many, many years, most of us. And it can come and go in waves. It's like one day we're radiant bliss, and then that just kind of comes back up into the system. All of that is rooted in us not deeply feeling the truth of love, the truth that we are
mm,
the truth of all that is. And so for your system uniquely, it's just these deep layers of body intimacy. It's like when you wake up in the morning, is your mind going to something external? Are you aware of the world around you? Are you actually in direct communion with your body? Because what I'm feeling is actual intimate dialogue with your system, with your cells, with your body. And this is a prominent theme, especially for women.
mm,
We have such sensitivity to all the nuanced sensations of our body and our being, and really tuning in, touching the body, touching the heart, touching the womb. I love you. I've got you. I'm here for you. Love's got you. All that is love, really reminding the self, but with the words, actually cultivating the felt knowing in the awareness, and coming inward. And
mm,
just even in a few minutes of that, really, and I'm because this is what it is. You're touching your body, you're pressing into your system and your cells. Your system will start to respond to your voice, your love, your tonality, and it will start to calm down, to feel soothed. And before you know it, that angst will dissolve itself. But if the mind is seeking for an answer or externalizing itself, it can start to amplify that felt sense of disembodiment,
mm,
where the angst becomes more prominent. So the angst is essentially when our soul isn't fully inhabiting the body in that moment.
mm,
The mind might be more active, we might be more
mm.
externally focused. So we want to get back into the body.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that'll
So, Lara, let me ask you a question to go to a foundation of the angst in which we have all expressed it in different ways. We have every
yeah,
single one of us on this call has felt it at one time or another. Th-
yeah.
There's there's a field of not feeling safe financially, physically, emotionally, and whether that runs in the back of the subconscious or it's primary for different reasons. And maybe, we have finances that ebb and flow. Our health ebbs and flows sometimes. Our relationships ebb and flow sometimes. It always feels like we're getting ready for the rug to be pulled out from under us at any time. Can y'all relate to that? Right? And so I feel stable for a little bit, but then I need to drop off again, and the whole system seems to go haywire. How is it that we can tune into, how is it that we can be that signal that we're wanting to emanate and have a relational field with, and not have these other safety factors over influencing what we're trying to create?
Mm.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I am so thankful that you
Mm.
just
Yeah,
brought this
thank you.
forward, because this is like it's like this foundational essence of what most of humanity is feeling. It's like, am I safe? Is there a threat? Is something going to happen? Is the rug going to be pulled out from under me? And I have experienced the most profound edges of this in every single area of my life. And those areas of my life didn't resolve until I quite literally energetically gave into my knowing All is well, and life's got me. And I know that that sounds like, but really, from the depth of wisdom in your heart, in your soul, in your body, and in your being, because when the system goes haywire, in that space, it's like, am I going to fall off the edge of the earth? Am I going to be able to eat tomorrow? Am I going to have a roof over my head? Is the person who says that they love me still going to be here? Or is my entire life landscape going to reorganize itself on a dime? It's these deep survival patterns that are activated within us. We become decoherent, our system destabilizes, we're raw, we're here, we're there. I'm so intimate with this space. And I had to navigate. So in when we're in those spaces, we have to give ourselves, and this is so important, we have to cultivate that safety within us. And that comes through our relationship with love. And I'm just going to call it the source love. I'm going to call God love. I'm going to call the field love. It is this relationship with I trust you, love. I know you've got me. You have to. That's the only option
Yeah.
right now. That is the only viable option. You've got to. And when we wear through those edges, it eventually those patterns dissolve from our life experience. And sometimes it does require us to live through it to really master that
Mhm.
energetic calibration. And I wish
Mm.
there was something more, more gentle to gift, but it really that's where we learn it is on those at those edges.
Well, what makes it gentle is that there's people who are showing up as guides and lamp lifters for the journey that they've walked through, so that it doesn't have to be so difficult for us. That there's those who can hold the emotional, the energetic, the spiritual, and the embodied landscape, so that you don't have to be chopping through the woods all by yourself and during these circumstances. So. Um, yeah, I love that you asked the question and it came up this way, Rosemary. And
Thank you.
y'all, we're guiding each other home in different ways through this, and really realizing that our foundation is so stable, and it's the illusion that the foundation isn't there that has us panicking, trying to find an exit where the entrance and the exit is right where we're standing.
Yeah, I felt that. Thank you so much. That
Right?
that definitely clears things up and allows me to focus on some other things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Meditate a different way. Thank you.
Drop
Yeah.
in. It's what I want to do, y'all. I'm going to go into more Q&A. Some great questions that came in the chat. Murray, we're going to go to you. I always get your name wrong. Is it Marie? Is it Mary? I always forget. We'll get to it in a little bit, I promise. But I want to go through the special offer because the opportunity to dive in with Solara on one sessions and the community that enhances that coherent field is just so pristine. So y'all click on the special offer link. It's in the chat box. It's underneath the video where you're watching a call from. If you're watching on YouTube, you can find the link in the comments section as well. And as Solera goes through the special offer for those of y'all who are signing up, which I hope everybody on the call does, seriously, um, as you go into your private session, I would encourage you to bring like the root of like your deepest fear, vulnerability into the field and to really allow it to express and to be held so it can be lifted into the energy of its full potential because it's got a lot of energy now. What can we do to alchemize it so you can really utilize it and wield it in a way that it's really here to serve? So, with that, now that y'all clicked on the special offer, Solara, please go through what everybody's going to receive based on either package A or package B.
Yes, beautiful. So while we're in this space, there's a frequency that you brought forward that is so important, which is about
Mm.
recognizing that we are never alone. It is impossible for
Yeah.
us to be alone, though when we're on these edges and the fear is loud, it feels like we're alone. It feels like we have to do everything in our own power. It's just a sacred reminder that there are sources, there are angels, there are beloveds around all of us at all times who are here for us in unique ways. And so to also reach out and ask for support and lean into the network of your experience, all the beautiful beings within it. And that just, it brings me to the power of community and what it is, So Infinity Collective membership and our sacred Infinity Collective membership portal is a part of this experience. And just for this reason, the reason why my favorite part of this portal, and yes, there are transmissions and it's essentially its own robust kind of social media space that's pristinely curated to house souls such as ours who are really cultivating and growing and developing our sourcehood and infinite creationary power together. So there's tools, there's resources, there's transmissions, there's all of this, but most importantly, there's us. There's the connection that we share. There's the ability to reach out to me in any moment that you are requiring support. And I love that aspect of the intimacy of this because I am immersed now in many spaces of stewardship and sacred responsibility and devotion in this world. And it's just such a sacred family portal where if something comes up for you, you can reach out to me through direct message, which is a really super special gift. And we have this opportunity to form this relationship with one another and be of assistance and be of support. And then you have your wider community, all the beautiful beings that are here with us to commune with and see if there's people who are local to you in your area, or to even if something's coming up, you can post in the feed. It's such a sacred space to be embraced as all that you are. We have the capacity to hold every single beautiful, gorgeous facet of your being, the full range of you, in such profound love. You can bring forward your art, you can bring forward your service in the world. It's just such a space of, it's just family to me. There's no differentiation for me between my clients, my beloveds, those that I serve, and our holy community spaces. It really is the essence of family. And so, yeah, I'm like really passionate about providing those spaces because I know what it's like to navigate alone, to realize I'm not alone, but to really be in these deep spaces and feeling that way. And so I love to provide this.
So that's the first time, but then on package A, you're also offering 30 minutes one-on-one.
Yeah, so in package A, we're
That's
offering.
crazy, y'all.
Yeah, I'm so excited for it. It's so sweet. People in my life are like, how? And I'm like, I actually don't know how I have the capacity for all of this, but I love to immerse with all of you so much because the love and the divine frequency that is amplified in the field it is so reinforcing and life affirming and powerful. And what I can say in the space of these sessions, whether you choose a 30-minute session or 1 hour, the most prominent feedback that I receive is just the sheer, we're going to call it, my friend Kaiden, he calls it the revelation. What is he? It's like the revelation quotient of revelation. It's just like there's so many beautiful, powerful jewels that arise in such a short time that provide clarity. And I feel at the deepest core, that's what people are actually looking for. It's all this seeking and all this internal questioning and how do I resolve this? And it's the spark of that clarity that supports them to release obstacles, release resistance patterns, open into the infinite free flow of clarity and creative power that is available to them. And so we immerse in that for, for the 30 minutes or for an hour. And they're just really rich, powerful sessions.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Y'all, the difference between the two packages is you can either choose a 30-minute session plus the membership. That's $97, which is ridiculous. For 30 minutes with Solara alone, that's just ridiculous. But to get the membership on top of that is wonderful. Or if you want an hour instead of 30 minutes, it's just an additional $50 for the extra 30 minutes with Solara. So this is a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned, as far as special offers. Um, if you have the ability to financially invest in it, and I want to be sensitive to those who might not, um, but for those of you who can and do, it's a gift. You can see the value. It's on the page on there. It's extremely generous.
Mm,
And what a beautiful opportunity to really get into that space of coherent divinity as you shine the light upon each other and raise each other up by being in each other's presence in that way and articulating what wants to rise up in that consciousness as Solara holds that space and amplifies that for you. So again,
mm,
either 30 minutes, 60 minutes, the membership comes in both packages. And there's a two payment option on all of those. So I hope you all take advantage of this special opportunity offered through Beyond the Ordinary show. And it's again such a gift and with gratitude that we received the Solara. So thank you for offering that.
my honor. And as we're here sharing about this, keep seeing Mare. She's such a beautiful example of
No, I'm
this.
calling on her also. She's the next
Yes,
person I'm calling on. So did you
yes.
want to reflect before she unmutes her microphone?
Yeah, this beautiful holy creature has been with me on the journey for years, and we discovered our usness through Beyond the Ordinary
Oh, I
show.
didn't know that. That's amazing. Ah, it's so
Yes,
good. Well,
and
Mayor,
there's
unmute your microphone. I was calling on you next anyway, so it's perfect timing.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Oh,
Oh,
Mare.
hello.
Hi.
Hi. Oh my God. I'm like, John, it was your show years ago.
Hmm.
And oh my, I'm really emotional with so much gratitude for both of you.
Hmm.
So
Thank you.
much gratitude. Um, after that show, Solara was unreal, and I went into awakening state for about 3 days. That was just pure love. I was dripping and salivating, and everything in my life just rolled with love. It
Hmm.
was a profound experience.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful, Mayor. Did you have a question today that you wanted to bring to the platform?
I just have gratitude um,
Uh,
for both of you. It's it's been so many years, and I'm so grateful. And Solara, you know what? You look so beautiful. We talked, our last time that we talked was last year, Solara. You look translucent. I
Aw.
I don't know. Um, so pure, and I'm so happy for you and your everything that's happening. Anyway, I'll
well,
give
Mayor, may your gift of gratitude and blessing towards us bless you 1,000 times over.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
And that's typically how it works without intentionally asking for it, by the way.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Mrs. Glorious
thank you.
JJ Crow. Yes, Mare is just such a shining, so she's such a sparkling light and
Mm,
shining emanation of what it is to live at these ultimate layers of reality. It's just love, because in love, all the questions actually dissolve.
mm,
There's no more inquiry. There's just love. And I would just also love to speak to the potency and the power of the energy in these spaces and in these sessions, because what Mare experienced was a profound awakening. We're talking like when Eckhart Tolle and people are sharing these powerful awakening experiences
mm,
that they're having, that's exactly what happened. That is the field of luminous awareness that opened within her being because she was open and available for that experience. And that is the majesty and the purity and the beauty of what happens in these spaces when we come together. And she did, like, she's just overflowing. Every time I receive a message from this holy
mm.
creature, I am just overjoyed in my heart. And these are the beautiful relationships that we build as well, timeless. timeless
So beautiful.
relationships.
Right. Thank you, love. It's wonderful to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, I love you so much.
Okay, a couple of things. First, Kaylee Jean, my 4-year-old has been listening with me, and he said, I think Solara is a goddess. And
Ah,
so
yay!
those star kids know what they're talking about, let me tell you. Um,
Hi, Kaylee. Yeah.
that's beautiful that's been shared. And then B wrote into the chat. B'd like to know what the best path for her in her relationship with her loving partner might be.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Well, to be that loving partner, what I would share is just what you were speaking about earlier, John,
Mm,
is our capacity to really show up in agape for one another, unconditional, devotional, being the source of love. And typically in these experiences, we can form as human beings attachments. And so not having an attachment to what one might experience or receive in return for being a source of that love, but really finding the power, the strength, the solidity, the enrichment within by offering that continuously to the container of your sacred union
mm,
from a pure space, and also being an open source of reception, as you're in communion with your beloved, being the open space of that love to allow the fullness of his being or her being to pour in, and also being a source of emanation, and continue to bring the purity of that love forward is the greatest gift that you can fertilize the
mm.
soils of your union with.
That's beautiful. So good.
Yeah.
Let's, y'all, I've been actually kind of a little cheeky in the conversation because I'm reverse engineering the conversation because I wanted to go into the transmission, Solara, and I felt this from the beginning, and I wasn't sure how I wanted to introduce it, but I feel we've been building up to it.
Yeah.
And I'd love it if you can give us your gnosis and definition of what the art of timeless divine union is and how we can have that relational aspect enlivened within ourselves.
Yes. Oh my goodness. This is just it's the master key, the master code of all existence, the moment. The
Mhm.
moment that I see you clearly and that you see me clearly is the moment that our entire existence transforms. It's the needle in the haystack. It is the philosopher's stone. It is clear perception, clear vision, recognition, self-recognition, soul recognition that I am the only one here. And I am the truth of pure divine love in a sacred, holy relationship with my own being. And, often the flavor, the qualities of the love that we feel that we are seeking outside of ourselves in this experience are the very real living qualities of our own sacred masculine and feminine. And so we start at the core foundation of coherence being that divine union within us. What does my divine feminine feel like? What does my divine masculine feel like? How does he show up in his regality, his nobility, his power to steward and guardian and provide, and all of these components that as women we might typically, feel the most like alive pulse in the masculine because we're feeling the frequencies of our own masculine, the potentiality of our own masculine to meet us in another. And the same for the gentleman. We feel those qualities, or you feel those qualities of your own divine feminine essence coming through a woman, the radiance, the overflow of love, the joy, the lightness of being, all of this. And that may be what, this spaciousness and the freedom to unfurl and to be alive in the dance of life. And so the primary space of divine union is within our own being, and really cultivating and establishing intimacy with those aspects and those components of our own being, because the sadness in relationship typically arises because we were not met, or we didn't feel that we were met by our own the counterpart of
Mhm.
our own divine masculine or our own divine feminine. And what that is a reflection of is the call for us to cultivate those qualities and those aspects within our own being to come into wholeness, coherence, and fulfillment. And once we establish that within ourselves, that wholeness, that coherence, that sovereign source embodiment, then we can really begin to, and we can do this really in a moment, the moment that we have clear perception of self, of truth, meet one another fully in that space without dependency, without attachment, without needing to source from the other, but to actually live in the freedom of love. I'm so satiated and fulfilled and whole in my own sourcehood, in my own coherence, that I actually just get to be present with you. I just get to love and honor and celebrate the source in you and be a space of love to celebrate the dance of life together. And I'm now in communion with my own divinity. And when we hold the clarity of that perception with another, I haven't experienced a more potent, powerful force in all of my existence than to, because I am choosing to meet and receive another being in that way, that is how they show up for me. That is how the beings who resonate into my world meet me in that space. How do you even communicate the magic that unfolds from the space of that?
Well, it's beautiful, Solar, because it shows up, but it doesn't show up because you have the expectation of it. It shows up alchemically. It's not serving the ego, it's serving the soul, and there's a big difference.
Yes. Oh, I love that you just said alchemically because that's the quality,
Mhm.
that is the precise mystical quality of
Yeah.
the energy. It's just, I'm having a conversation with God.
Yeah.
You're having a conversation with God and the beauty and the power and the love and the creationary field of infinite possibility and limitlessness that opens in that, the richness of the heart, the poetry of the soul that begins
Yeah.
to unfurl, and that's is so far beyond description. It's so experiential and so alive.
I I so appreciate and fall into the way that you express and the poetic versing of truth that you share because I tend to do the same as well. And for me, that poetry, what it's doing, it's attuning to an essence of love that doesn't have words or definition, but you can feel in the way that it's being shared and expressed in its passion and recognitions and longing simultaneously. And so some things can be explained in a beautiful linear way and it helps our mind kind of land it. But the weaving that happens through the wordsmithing that comes up through the heart, it's just, it articulates something that is more of a signal and a resonance than it is a landing of an intellectual note.
Oh, that's so gorgeous the way that it's the
Mm.
dance. It is the
Yeah.
literal unfurlment of the poetry of the dance. And this is why I remember you and I, one of our very first calls, it was like a multi-hour call. And it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
just all about divine union because it's so who we are. And it's, it's a dance. It's a love making
Mhm.
with life. It's like, hi, darling. Hi, darling. The beloved is everywhere.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, this is so good. And in relationship, again, I appreciate what you're sharing there as well. And you know, it's this is proven from a psychological experimentation and then prove the science behind that is that we fall in love with those people who are demonstrating aspects of ourselves that we haven't developed or that we're afraid to express. So those that are showing up for us, they're mirroring back those qualities in ourselves that we wish to express or that we wish to amplify and that we get the joy to receive through the love that they're giving to us of being the light mirror reflector for who we be. And so to recognize that and have appreciation for whoever is sitting across from you, no matter the circumstance, realizing that that's what they're amplifying back to us. it's a whole different paradigm of creation beyond safety and defense and really going into a place of just knowing what it is that's being directed and who truly it is that's talking back to us. And
Oh,
again, it's God and I am my source and supply, right? Uh,
oh, I love it. Yes.
oh, so beautiful, y'all. This is so amplified. Y'all, the special office alarm, I'm telling you, get into this vibrational coherence space of Solara in the special offer, and it's going to activate something. There's a question that came in from Gustavo that I want to ask in just a second. In the one-on-one sessions, because you're so good at working with entrepreneurs and people choosing to express in that way also in service, can they dive into entrepreneurial aspects of their life in these sessions with you as well?
Oh, most certainly. Yes. And actually, that is like the spiritual gauntlet.
Okay.
In the entrepreneurial landscape. Yes, of course. Of course, of course.
Y'all, for that price, I'm telling you, this is amazing. This is so good. Um, so Gustavo was asking, is it a monthly online gathering in the community, or what does it involve? Is it recordings that you have up that people get to access, or is it both, or I don't know.
Yeah, so it's recordings that I have up that people can access, and we are going to be doing more frequent things. But right now, in all transparency, my being is not able to commit to that. But what you do have is private advisory with me,
Mm,
which I would say is more valuable than solely the teachings because those are
that's
coming
amazing.
to you. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's a heck of a thing. Kay Gino signed up. I just bought an hour session. I'm so excited. Thank you both for this amazing offer and interaction. Thank you. Gustavo got it also. So amazing.
Yeah.
Solar, what are you excited about? What is alive in your field?
I'm actually okay, great. This I love that. Yeah, you asked this question. I've actually been really feeling the power and the potency and the richness of my own leadership and my own stewardship in this holy world and really deeply like, okay, so I'm looking at some of the things that are happening on the world and what does a divine mother, a divine father, a divine steward, the masculine, the feminine look like in the way that I know it can show up at full capacity in this world? And, for many years, it's been about, okay, aligning with many of the beings and the leaders that are creating in these spaces and being of service to them, to support them with rooting further into their own sovereign divinity. And really in this whole era of my life is what I'm going to share. I'm really stepping, I'm going to call it my executive source power, like really being the full power, potency, and integrity of the love that I am here to be on all levels. And it has felt so energizing, enlivening, fulfilling to be able to show up as a source of love for so many every single day. It is
Mm.
this sense of motherhood, of matriarchy that gosh, it is just expressing in a very unique way through my dharma and my legacy. But this is what is the most exciting to me right now because it's the most real to be able to experience both myself as that and the way that the love is touching so many lives and to be able to be a solid example and pillar for how that energy shows up. Like what would it be like to know that source is there for you all the time and to actually be that in these spaces.
But you are the source, and you recognize that you are the source is the kingdom of heaven is within you. And what I really appreciate greatly about this, y'all, and this is I'm going to share this because it's a calling for all of us, that it's time to stop denying who we really are. And you have let go of denying and trying to fit in and trying to make sense of it. And you've matured through a lot through your experiences and your surrendering and acceptance and willingness to merge with that power of divinity. And in that you can no longer deny who you be. It just is what it is, what it is. And you've stepped into that fully.
Yeah, it's time, I've always known that I was going to do it. And so it's just
Mhm.
time to be in the wholeness and the fullness. And you know, the world is ready for Source to have the megaphone.
Yeah, and we have the ears to hear it and the hearts to receive it and the capabilities to put it into action. So
Yeah.
again, we've evolved so much and we're beyond awakened, y'all. We're not waking up. We're just finally deciding that we're going to take action after being in such a long slumber. And it's time. It's time.
Mhm.
Which is beautiful. JJ wrote in, I'm definitely in. This is profound offer, not to be missed. Thank you. Glorious Stargate.
I love
Love that.
you,
Love
JJ.
that. This is so good.
Heavens,
Ah,
yes.
Solara, we're an amazing call. Y'all come back. We're gonna run the replay for the rest of the week. Come back and get into, oh my God, this fluidity of divinity that's coming in on today's call. I can't even call it a transmission or an activation because it's just pure presence with what is in that coherent field. And it's an invitation for all of us to froth up, alchemize, and hold that field steady and remembering, really embracing what's already alive in you and have relationship with it and build that intimacy and take it forward. So absolutely amazing. The link for Solara's special offer, again, the membership, either 30-minute or a 90-minute or a 60-minute call. That's the difference between package A and B. The link's in the chat box underneath the video where you're watching the call from, and on YouTube, it's in the comments section. Um, and with that, Solara, are there any final thoughts that you want to leave us with?
Mm. I love you. Inhabit your power, inhabit your divinity. Allow that light to shine freely, fully, and boldly. And we are ready for the source that you are. And you are so profoundly loved.
Ah, beautiful. Solara, thank you. I
Yes.
love you too. I won't speak for the audience,
Yes.
but I'm sure. Jamie Lynn, so grateful to have been able to join this loving, coherent light session. Jamie Lynn, thank you for writing
Oh,
in.
love you.
Murray, thank you again. Solara,
Yes.
I'm talking to you soon. I'm going to drop into the field again, but thank you, thank you, thank you. It's so wonderful to be here with you.
Yes, Ditto. I love you. I'm so
Mm,
grateful for your being.
thank you.
Yes.
Yes. Ah,
Yeah.
I received it. All right, y'all. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. I look forward to seeing y'all on the next call. I bow down to each and every one of you and namaste. The light in me recognizes and honors and has reverence for the light in you. Blessings, everybody.